Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
$11:02 on a Friday, and what a Friday it is. NFL Wildcard weekend. That is exciting. You can text us anytime if you are listening to the Lock Shop, 780-218-9999. Lots of good text messages rolling in on the Hangout today. Tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk, and a lot of you are watching YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. We are this close to 6,400 subs on YouTube, so we'd love it if you're, even if you're a Winnipeg Sports Talk guy, give us a sub over here on Edmonton Sports Talk. We'd love to see that as well. Huss is going to be popping by as well. And Pat Gregoire is going to join us. Pete Gregg, he's getting set to do some NLL action tonight, but he's going to pop by as well because who is going to miss NFL Wildcard Weekend? We will certainly get into that. Huss is about ready to head right out on the road shortly after this. He's got Winnipeg Sports Talk coming up, and then he's heading down to Kansas City where the forecast just gets colder and colder and colder and colder. So we've got that coming up here as well. Let's bring in the man himself, the red-hot Winnipeg Jets and the red-hot Edmonton Oilers right here in the Lock Shop. Huss, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Yeah, that was a nice little the streakers continue last night.
Man, what a sweat. What a sweat to hit that bad boy. But it doesn't matter how you hit it as long as you do.
Listen, dude, so I'm at the game last night, and it was a busy, busy night. And I see early on that the Kraken were up 4-1 or something like that. And that was the shortest number of the, I think the Kraken were minus 119. The Oilers were minus 179. Panthers were in at about 150, 160, I think. And then the Jets were minus 400. So at one point in the third period of the Oiler game, the Panther game, and the Jets game, they were all down a goal. So I'm like, oh, well, it's not looking good. And then I see the Panthers had tied it up. That was an earlier game than the other two. And then McDavid did his thing. They're back in it. It was a little back and forth. And then all of a sudden, the Panthers win and the Oilers win. And we're dealing with this slog of a game against the Chicago Blackhawks. And Mark Scheifele got hurt and wasn't returning to the game. And I'm like, I was already thinking, and I remember myself saying it, do we really want to put the Jets on at minus 400? Does that do
I
that
know. I know.
And I'm like, oh, this is going to drive me nuts if it happens. And then Adam Lowry, Gabriel Velarde, Nikolai Ehlers to the rescue. Jets have won 8 in a row. And I think today I'm going to just not wait for the National Hockey League. Today on WST, I'll be bringing out the Bones chain and congratulating Rick Bowness. Congratulating Rick Bowness on being the one of the coaches for the All-Star game tonight. So we got it done. Oh, and by the way, you know you're feeling it when San Jose, hello, plus 149.
Yeah, nice work, buddy. Nice work. I saw they were up 2-0 there. I was like, man, Huss is going to pull off this San Jose Sharks sprinkle tonight. Not bad, sir.
I think there was a few guys in the chat that might have also got in on that. That was getting a little bit of love when I brought it up yesterday on the program. So let us know. Let us know if you jumped in on that. But a great night for hockey. Great night for the Lock Shop with the streaking parlay and the Sharks. And now we focus in on the main event of the weekend, 6 NFL games. And man, I am fired up. We've got some juicy matchups, and I'm sure you've been the same way. I mean, I've just been looking at these lines over and over again.
I've got notes all over the place here trying to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to. I mean, that's a good place to where the lines are being set, right? Like, and we've seen them move throughout the week, one way or the other, on pretty much every single game. So they're going to find that happy medium. But this is not a. I mean, I wouldn't describe this as an easy week, right? Like, we've had weeks where we're like, oh, we're loving this week. And it's hit for us and it's done well. I wouldn't describe this necessarily as an easy week for Wildcard Weekend.
I agree. I think that there is some very intriguing matchups. There's certainly a couple that could go very much either way. The Tampa Eagles game's fascinating in that, at one point yesterday, Dusty, it was down to 2.5. It's now sort of seemingly settled at 3. But you got those last two games, the Sunday nighter, a 3-point spread for the Lions, the Monday nighter, a 3-point spread for the Eagles. We kick it off with a 2-point spread for the Texans and Browns. And honestly, this Chiefs-Dolphins game, which is now at 4.5, I think in any other scenario, we're probably talking about maybe a 2-point spread or closer to a pick 'em.
Yeah.
But so much of the conversation about the weather, and as a Chiefs guy, I am buying into it full force, that it's a bad place for the Dolphins to be. But really, I mean, there's the two games that would have bigger spreads. That's the Bills and that's the Cowboys. And as well as I told you on Monday, I mean, when the lines came out right away, I'm really kicking myself for not jumping on the Chiefs right away. And I guess I hadn't really paid too much attention to how cold it was going to be, knowing that that thing would move the way that it did. But I did jump on the Packers immediately, getting the hook at 7.5. And I don't think we're going to get back to 7.5. That one's pretty steady at 7. And as I say, we'll kind of dive into those games and make our picks. But plenty of options tonight for you to get your game on for a wildcard weekend.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be awesome. Pat Gregoire is gonna join us coming up in a little bit. We'll get his thoughts on the 6 games as well. We as we've done the last few years here with the Lock Shop. We obviously pick every single NFL playoff game along the way, so we'll get into the 6 of them here today, give you our picks for all 6 games. Nasty Chat is already moving along as well. People loving that we managed to hit that streak and parlay last night. Mark's like 12-1 odds if you bet the Jets to win in regulation with 6 minutes left. All right, a little live betting. With 6 minutes left, you could have got it at 12-1 at that point.
It's funny you bring that up because, as I said, I was having this dreaded feeling that the Jets were going to be the team that blew it. And the other 3 games that were already in. And I did wonder, I think we got to about the second TV timeout. And knowing that they were playing Chicago, I was kind of wondering if there was still maybe a chance to hedge, to take the Hawks and at least cover the bet. It was crazy. The Blackhawks were it was like minus 267 or something to win. Like, it was a little more than I thought, but I mean, part of it was that they were, I got to give Chicago credit just quickly. I know we're not going to talk much hockey today. I mean, that team has a bunch of guys that are probably not NHLers. Luke Richardson deserves a ton of credit. And I'm sure you guys saw the same thing when the Oilers played them the other day. Like, there wasn't a lot of space out there.
No, there was not.
They were so good with their sticks. The Jets were frustrated. I mean, Cole Perfetti must have had 10 passes last night that one of the Blackhawks got a stick on it or something like that. And they were disruptors last night. And the Jets had to work their asses off in the third period to get back in the game. Certainly, they were the better team. And they finally got rewarded late when Velarde tied it up. And then, of course, Ehlers was the hero late to win it in regulation. But I left that game having a lot of respect for a Blackhawks team that is talent-wise completely outmanned night in and night out. And when you look at what they've done this week, they beat Calgary, they hung in there with the Edmonton Oilers, and they hung in there with the Winnipeg Jets, 2 teams that have won a combined 17 straight games. So brighter days are around the corner for Chicago, but I really think Luke Richardson has those guys understanding where they are right now as a team and doing everything they can to at least play competitive hockey every night.
It's Dusty and Huss with you. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. If you want to slide into the Nasty Chat today and dish out some of your picks. Quiet night in the NHL, but anything you got going on, feel free to hit us up over there as well. But this is a big-time NFL episode as we've got a ton of time today to dive into all 6 of these games. We can, I guess we do have a Monday nighter, Huss. So we still want to pick all 6 today, though, don't we? Or do you want to wait until?
Oh yeah. Well,
okay.
I'm not going to be here on Monday.
Oh yeah,
anyway.
That's right. You're not going to be here Monday anyway. That's right.
Maybe I'll pop in from the road somewhere with maybe a play of the day for that game. Or
what is the plan coming home? So you're going down. You leave later today. You're going to get in tomorrow. You're going to take in the game and then slowly work your way back, or what are you going to do?
No, Sunday will be spent eating barbecue, drinking beer, watching the 3 games.
Beautiful.
And then we will leave. We had thought about maybe leaving a little, like doing a bit of the drive on Sunday. But I think most likely, because there is a nice casino there in Omaha where we could maybe roll into on the way back. But I have a feeling we'll just, spend a day with my friends in Kansas City, watch all 3 games, try and get up at a half decent hour, hit the road back on Monday to get to probably Fargo or Grand Forks, North Dakota
by Monday night
around 7. And we could easily make it home.
Oh, but you want to watch the game?
I want to watch the game. Exactly. Yeah. We're in no rush. So I think the plan is to do that. And that's why hopefully the guys can hang. I might be coming in hot to WST, like right in there, because depending on the border.
Oh, we can get through it with me and Jakey and Pat. We'll figure it out Monday, Tuesday, buddy.
Yeah. So I think we'll be back and we can kind of get into everything on Monday. Oh, Richard Croft. I did get the Sharks though, thanks to us. Right.
Beautiful. Love it.
I don't know. That was a great spot for San Jose. They were going to win sooner or later. Montreal coming back on the second end of back-to-back. So it's good. And I see someone said, "Where's the Chiefs hoodie, or Chiefs parka?" Listen. This is no time for a team branded parka. This is the real shit, guys. I've got one of my buddy that just loves snow blowing nonstop. My pal Dom, who's always outside, has given me like a North Face expedition jacket, which I think would have me warm if we were in Antarctica. So if you take the right precautions, I think we'll even be able to do a little bit of tailgating beforehand, to be honest.
It's wow, my God, you're nuts. I was just going to say, it was pointed out to me this morning that it's actually warmer in Antarctica today than it is in Edmonton. So it's minus 26 in Antarctica today. When we started the show this morning, we had people screen capping their weather apps, and it felt like it was minus 47 in Edmonton this morning.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was.
So relatively, Kansas City's going to seem balmy.
Yeah. We're going to say, oh, wow, I wish I was there right now. Seems nice and warm. Because, it's going to be minus 40, like minus 42 the next 2 nights here. That's pre-wind chill. So it's gonna be ridiculously cold. The actual temperature the next 2 nights is minus 42. So it's that damn cold front, Huss, every single time.
Are these records? These have to be.
I saw Josh Clausen, ace weatherman, Big AM Nasty himself from CTV.
Great rapper too.
Great rapper. Yeah, the Atmospheric Avenger or whatever it is. Yeah, he's smooth. He's got bars, man. He's got bars. He said it was the coldest since 2004, and he was being a little bit conservative, I think, with that too. So it's freezing right now. Like, Big Uke says right now it's minus 36, feels like minus 41 right now. And that's warmed up. It's warmed up today. So, it's I was joking this morning on my show. I was apologizing to my truck while driving in today. I was like, sorry, you have to take me into work right now. Like, this is unfair to have to work in these conditions. It's absolutely ridiculous. Rod Ziezen says the warm South Alberta minus 56 wind chill the next 2 nights. So, like, I looked outside this morning, man, and it looked like the air was freezing. Like, that's how bloody cold it was when I left for work today.
Ice fog. It gets so cold that
I was just like, my God, like, it is ridiculous out there. So, anyway, it'll be warm for you in Kansas City. Don't worry about that.
I'm looking right now, and these are, I believe this is all in Celsius. Yeah. So a high of minus 14 on Saturday, a low of minus 23. And again, this is a night game, so we're probably closer to minus 20 or so. And that's just the temperature. The wind looks like it's going to be northwest at 27. So, I mean, we're going to have, with that wind chill and out on the field, Tyreek Hill is going to be welcome back to Arrowhead in the most Arctic. And I'm trying to think of how, because I mean, it was cold last year at the AFC Championship game, but I think it was more in the lines of sort of like -8, -9, but there was sort of some moisture in the air and it maybe felt a little colder. But this is next level. This is next level. And obviously it's a huge story around the Saturday nighter.
Hey, quickly before we bring in Pat, because he's here, we'll bring him in a second. He'll just join us and we can dive through all these football games. I saw Dave Naylor just retweeted this from Wes Steinberg. Do you see this? USB quarterback Caleb Williams wants assurances that the Bears will be trading the first overall pick before he declares for the draft because he and his camp have no interest in playing in Chicago. Your thoughts, Huss?
I'll say this. This guy's a great quarterback, but man, he really has seemed like a bit of a diva.
Yeah, he has.
Over the last little bit. And for Chicago, I thought that the play was to trade Fields and take him. I mean, if you can get a generational quarterback on a rookie deal, I mean, that sets you up for incredible success. But I'll tell you what, it's just going to give the Adam Schefters of the world lots to talk about and lots for us to chew on right now. And here's the thing. If the Bears do go that route and trade that number 1 pick, I mean, what a great year. Like I think back to when the Chiefs really sucked and the one time we bottomed out and had the first overall pick. I mean, the number 1 pick was a lineman, Eric Fisher. Had a pretty good career, but this is a great year to have the number 1 pick, either to take the player or trade it. But it sounds like Mr. Williams is sort of calling his own shot here and doesn't want to go to does it say where he wants to go?
No, it doesn't say where he wants. It doesn't say where he wants to. It doesn't say where he wants to go. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. Do you know who Wesley Steinberg is? He's a giant. He's a Giants insider. He's got 12,000 followers.
Wait a second. That Wesley Steinberg, I think you got.
Are you serious?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, I saw it was Naylor who retweeted it, so I was just figuring if Naylor retweeted it.
Hold on a second here. Let's see here.
Let me see if Dave still left it up. Let me see.
Yeah, like his next one, Giants safety Xavier McKinney posted a story on IG of Wink Martindale with the caption "Rest in piss," but it was quickly deleted. Quote, "Pack your bags and F off to Florida, old man." The final words of Giants head coach Brian Dable to Wink Martindale as he was escorted out of the facility by security. This is a
so they got Naylor and Naylor got me. Unbelievable.
Naylor got is it still up?
Somebody should text Naylor. It's been up for 30 minutes.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Dave. I love it. I do love when this sort of stuff happens.
I do love when this sort of stuff happens. Damn. I like that story. I like that story. You know what? The reason, well, first of all, Naylor retweeting it got me. Second of all, I could see Williams, like you said, I could see Williams sort of having that type of attitude, to be honest with you. So we'll see how that one plays out.
Yeah. Let's see. Do we have Dave's number? We should text him.
Yeah. You want me to text him?
Yeah.
He was on my show like 2 days ago.
Yeah. By the way, Wesley Steinberg is a parody troll account. Check the rest of his. Just tell him to check the rest of his tweets. As far as it, and I love Naylor. I love all the guys that come on the shows, but I kind of do love when big J's get got by jokers on the internet. And Wesley Steinberg, the minute you said Wesley Steinberg, I'm like, wait a second.
All right, there we go. Pat Maroon's Bib says Naylor gets a pass. He was under the influence of 3-day-old coffee. I don't know if you saw this. He was on our show the other day, and he was going down to Buffalo. And he'd been in Nashville for the CFL meetings. And he got a coffee in Nashville, flew back to Toronto, had fallen asleep on the plane, didn't drink the coffee, took the coffee home, put it in the fridge overnight, heated it back up, and had that same coffee the next day, crossing the border again to go down to Buffalo. It was bizarre. An overnight, 3-city, cross the border twice coffee that he hadn't finished yet, which was nuts.
I don't even know what to say about
I know. It was that serial killer stuff, man. That was messed up. All right, let's bring in Pete Greggy because we got 6 games. We got 6 games to dive into, and he joins us. I'll drop my pen for a second. Pete Greggy, you wearing a nice sweater there? Is that what this is? What's going on here?
I believe they call it a shacket. It's like a jacket but sweater material. I am on the East Coast. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't want to flex here, fellas. It's balmy. It's cool.
Oh,
it's windy,
you shut up.
It's way better than It's way better than what you're experiencing. It's way better than what's even going on in Ontario right now. I don't even know if I'm going to get home. To be honest, fellas, the snow that we're expected to get in Toronto tomorrow. I might have to find a sports bar here in Halifax and watch the games.
Oh, darn. Tough
for
life.
me once again. Oh, darn it. I think I'll be fine if that's the case. But no, it's good to be back, boys.
Did you say they call it did you say a shacket?
A shacket. It's a sweater jacket. See, it's got like the buttons here. It's nice and cozy.
Yeah, that looks cozy, man. I'm jealous. That looks like something I'd live in. That looks awesome.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, Huss, Naylor replied to me. He goes, "Thanks, jeez."
Fellas, I mean, this guy, whoever runs this account,
Wesley
some
Steinberg.
absolute beauties.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago in December, breaking: Bills head coach Sean McDermott arrested at team facility this morning over comments he made about 9/11. So, like, this is clearly, I mean, it looks great. It's got a guy wearing a tie. He's got the purple check mark. So this one's not on Naylor. This one's on Elon. The fact that anyone can buy a check mark now makes things a little more difficult to get got. But when I saw that again, you guys said it though. Would you be surprised if Caleb Williams did something like
well,
this?
Well, no, I wouldn't be overly surprised. You're a college football guy, Patty. Would that surprise you if that comes out at some point anyway?
No, this is a guy that I think, a few months back was saying that they wanted to work into the contract for whoever drafted him, that he would be able to get shares.
Yeah.
In
that's
team.
right. And wait, was that from Wesley Steinberg, though?
That could have been from Wesley Steinberg.
Yeah,
so who knows? But he's a prima donna. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. Phenomenal quarterback. There's a lot of baggage with this dude. There is a lot of baggage. He knows how good he is. And let's be honest, I think you got to have a lot of confidence as a quarterback. You got to be confident, but you also got to be pretty humble too. So I don't know. I mean, he's just so talented. He's so athletic. The tangibles are there. It's just, does he got it all upstairs to be a franchise quarterback? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't care if my quarterback paints his nails or cries on his mom's shoulder if they lose, as long as he comes in and wins football games and does it. And I think he's got that talent. Now, I guess there's some questions about the maturity and the demands. I mean, there was that business earlier where he wanted a piece of the team.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Yeah.
Maybe that was also from Wesley Steinberg. The art of a great internet troll is there has to be some iota of believability in it. And I think that was the case. By the way, Pat Maroon's bib, Naylor gets a pass. He was under the influence of 3-day-old coffee.
Yeah, exactly. It's too good. It's too good. By the way, Duck Dad says, my shacket is the only plaid I own. And then Cowboy says, do they make a shacket in plaid for Dusty? Which, I mean, I hope so. I love plaid.
You could be on, at the Jet games. One of our fun, kind of like fan things during the game is the hoser cam.
Okay.
Where they just basically, they pick the dudes in the big plaid with the toques. And I can tell you right now, there's a lot of that. There'll probably be that at some of these games on the weekend.
Yeah, there have to be.
Let's
fire it
shackets,
off.
fellas.
Texans, Browns. Patty, this one's gone down to 2. I kind of thought 3 made sense, 2.5, but I guess that tells us that there are some people that are still riding with the Texans at home.
I think the health of C.J. Stroud and the fact that he's going to play, and the fact, let's be honest, it doesn't matter how good that team in brown, orange, and white plays, people still think the Browns are the Browns. And as great as a story as Joe Flacco has been, like, is there a point where, the Cinderella story strikes midnight? But with that being said, man, we know when it comes to the playoffs, defenses really win championships. If you can get a quarterback that can, make the throws that need to be made, and we know that can go a long way. But with that being said, I think there's a lot of, questions around if this was a mirage, if the Texans, now that they're getting more healthy, that they are going to, the home field advantage certainly might play a bit of that. But for me, I don't know. I have a hard time going against this Browns team. The defense is, again, historically good. Flacco, he's been there before. I know he's only played a few weeks. What a story he's been. But he's making the throws that he needs to make. Of course, he's going to throw a couple of picks as well. But if he can limit those mistakes, if he can make the big throws, this Browns team is playing unbelievable. And it's more than just the defense. David Njoku is probably been, a candidate for breakout star of the year. Everything just seems to be going well for this Browns team where you asked us like 2 months ago, everything was going wrong. Nick Chubb at the start of the year goes out with injury. They can't find a quarterback. But this team has just been so resilient. And I hate using this adage. It's so cliche, but man, does not feel like this team has like Team of Destiny vibes around them.
Yeah, this is an interesting game because I was hot and horny for the Browns at the beginning of the week, and then you see the line movement and you go, okay, so people are getting on the Texans. So then I said to myself, well, why are they getting on the Texans? So I kind of dive into it a little bit. Browns defense at home allows 3.7 yards per play. On the road, they allow 5.5 yards per play. So they're allowing almost 2 more yards per play on the road. And down this stretch with Flacco in there, the thing that throws the real sort of hitching my giddy up to maybe flipping over onto Houston for this thing is that they went into Houston and beat them 36-22 like 3 weeks ago, right? During this winning streak, well, they lost to the Bengals, but the Browns, they beat the Jags with banged up Trevor Lawrence. They beat the Bears. They beat Houston, which was a nice win, and then they did hang 37 on the New York Jets as well. Flacco, you said he's going to throw some picks, and he has. Like, he's got over 1,600 yards in 5 games, 13 touchdowns, but he's thrown 8 interceptions in 5 games as well. So, I mean, Joe Flacco interception, I don't even know what the value would be on that, but you got to get on that one. So I can see why some of the money has come in on Houston and why the line has moved a little bit, but I don't think it's convinced me enough to go away from what the Browns have done here so far, Huss.
No, listen, those picks of Flacco's, it's just part of the package. You deal with it. They're like punts. I mean, he throws the ball 60 yards in the air, pick it off, fine. You move on, pull the defense out. I'm on Cleveland here. We've been talking. I've read the script. The script has Cleveland playing the Baltimore Ravens next week in what will be an incredible game. I lay the 2 with the Browns. I love the fact that it's actually come down a little bit. I mean, at 3, I thought, geez, and I wasn't even surprised it was going to come down at all. So the fact that we're getting it at 2 right now, love it. If you want to just play the money line, if you're betting this on its own, it's minus 133.
Yeah, you could swallow that, right? You can do that. No problem. Yep.
Go with that. But for purposes of our spread picks, Cleveland minus 2, Joe Flacco on to Baltimore. Let's go.
I will also stick with Cleveland. Tried to convince myself otherwise, but I just can't get off of it. P. Greggy, where are you at?
I was feeling, like I said, I was almost like word for word, Dusty, what you were saying, like hot and horny at the start of the week, and then kind of, but it's like sometimes you just got to go with your gut at the start of the week and not allow where the money is going. I know the fisherman Jake Moss might say something different when it comes to those fishy lines, but sometimes you just got to go with it.
Well, and the other aspect of this, the Browns' defense isn't as good on the road as it is at home, but their offense has been lights out for 5 weeks. So,
that's what I mean. It hasn't just been their defense; it has been carrying them. And does CJ Stroud scare me? Absolutely. He is a guy that I think has that it factor. He's going to be a franchise quarterback. He's a rookie. This is his first playoff start. Like, should he really scare you all that much? I mean, he could. I could be eating my words here, and he goes out and lights the world.
But you wouldn't be surprised if CJ Stroud goes out and has a game. Like last week was a huge game. He got it done. What was it? The college semifinal against Georgia last year. I mean, he stepped up big there, played really well. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we come in Monday and we're like, man, CJ Stroud was unbelievable. Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, I'm not expecting that of him.
No, and
rookie
I think
quarterbacks.
He can play
I'm just going to say rookie quarterbacks in their first playoff start cover the number less than 35% of the time.
Exactly.
And hey, he's not just any rookie quarterback. I'll say that. He's been incredible. But hey, there's so much momentum going for Cleveland. And by the way, shout out to both of these coaches. They should be 1-2 in Coach of the Year voting. I think Stefanski's going to get it, partly because Joe Flacco is his quarterback right now, and they've gone through everybody else.
Yeah.
But
well, on that note, fellas, you asked about the Joe Flacco interception, minus 169 for him to throw a pick. I might see if we can get an alt line for him to throw 2 picks, because I think if he throws 2 picks, they could still win. No doubt about that. But
he's
a
thrown 2
parlay for
picks
an
3
interception-
times already.
They're like fun.
He throws picks, so that doesn't surprise me.
Exactly. Looking at a parlay for me for that Saturday, I'd be seriously considering a Tua pick and a Flacco pick, trying to parlay those together. I think that might have to even be my primetime parlay, even though it's not primetime. I think that might have to be my parlay.
Well, let's get to that other game on the Saturday night. I mean, we've seen the line move from kind of 2.5 to 3. Now it's at 4.5. I mean, I'm obviously incredibly biased in this, but I do believe in the Chiefs defense. And I think that's, if you are thinking about the Chiefs big picture, the ability to compete with the rest of these teams that are in the AFC, it's going to be on the back of the defense. And when I look at this matchup, I mean, we've talked a lot about the weather. This is the worst case scenario for the Miami Dolphins. And listen, I saw Jalen Waddle yesterday at practice hobbling around. I know they say he's going to be a game time decision. I'd be shocked if he's able to go. It's going to be a lot on Tyreek Hill. I mean, Rahoster's been banged up. I mean, if he's able to go, how well will he be able to play? I mean, Shane's another guy from Florida that's probably never seen anything close to what's out. I mean, Tua's from Hawaii, like a great quarterback. This is not the place for the Dolphins.
No.
I've actually taken the Chiefs on a couple of alt lines. Like if you,
How
if
high
right
up?
now-
How high up are you taking it?
Well, right now, I mean, you can get it up to 7 right now at CoolBet. 6.5 is plus 120. When I was looking at betting the game, it's 4.5 at minus 109. I mean, to me, there's almost no difference between 4.5 and 5.5. So rarely do you see a game end on 5. And it's plus money right now at 5.5. So I've actually got in at 5.5. But for purposes of the lock shop, I'm in at minus 4.5. And as I say, I think the Chiefs can. It could be a long, long day for the Dolphins. They have to get off to a good start, because if not, it will be the most miserable 3 hours of most of those individuals' lives. Either of you guys have anything that might give a Dolphins fan hope right now, or are you with me on the Chiefs?
I think the only thing that could give the Dolphins any sort of hope is the fact that Kansas City are 1-4, I believe, against playoff teams. But then you look at the other side, the Dolphins are 1-5 against playoff teams.
Yeah.
They've been even worse. And if I think the one thing that you could say with the Dolphins is as bad, or I don't want to even say as bad, but how the offense has come down to earth. And they're not going to be able to play like what we've seen with this electrifying offense in this weather. The defense has been significantly better over the past 5-6 weeks for this Dolphins team. But with that being said,
they're screwed. Have you seen the injuries? They
crazy.
just signed Justin Houston off the street to be
they're so
starting
banged
edge
up.
rusher. They've got 2 guys. They're both their middle linebackers out. Xavier Howard's out now. Now again, take that for what it's worth, because we all know the track record of the Chiefs receivers this year.
Yeah.
But as they say, I mean, I think for Miami to win, it would be the most incredible road win. And I mean, that team hasn't had a playoff win in over 20 years. I mean,
and this is just straight up. How much is this just the weather for you? Like, if there's no weather in this game, where do we come out on this? Because aren't the Chiefs like 1-3 in their last 4 at home too?
Yeah. I mean, as I said, there's been a whole bunch of things that have happened. Every game the Chiefs have played in, and especially some of these losses, have just been bizarro games. They looked a hell of a lot better against the Bengals the last time out. They got the week of rest last week as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Dolphins were going at it with the Bills on Sunday night. But yeah, listen, if this game is in Miami, I mean, the Dolphins are favored probably by 3 or 4 points.
Yeah.
But again, this isn't in Miami, and it is going to be. It's a nightmare scenario for Mike McDaniel's squad. So many of the things that they do well, probably are negated in the really bad weather, and then you add in the defense. Just quickly, because I know we got to get to these other games before I got to run, but I do like the Isaiah Pacheco Rushing yardage. Oh, it's actually gone up. I got it on it at 62 or 63. It's at 64.5. But he's going to be running angry, and he's going to get the ball a lot at minus 127. Love the over on Pacheco on the rushing yards.
So I want to quickly, again, I know we got to get moving here, but this is a game. It's crazy to say because at the start of the year, maybe even like 4 or 5 weeks ago, if you asked me, Pat, or I told you I'm taking the under in this game, I'd say, Pat, is everything okay? An under first off, but it's under 43.5. I know that's really low, but I just don't see either of these offenses cooking. So I think I'm going to play the under. I think I am going to play the Chiefs at minus 4.5. But Miami, you talk about this cold. Miami is 0-10 in their last 10 games when the temperature is 40 and below. If you take the 5 coldest games that Tua has ever played in, which is ranging from like 36 to 40 Fahrenheit, obviously, he's 0-5. He's only thrown 5 touchdowns. He has a 56 completion percentage, and he's thrown 7 interceptions. So you said it. He's from Hawaii. He played in the SEC. He's played in Miami. He has never really had to deal with a lot of this weather. And when he has shriveled up and not come up. So I think this is a no-brainer. This Chiefs, and again, us, I think alt play is definitely in play as well.
The alt play, and I'm with you on the under. I think this is going to be ball possession. I think there's going to be tons of running. I think the clock is going to be running to get people out. So we like the Chiefs. Now, what about this one? The Sunday.
Just quickly. I'm on the Dolphins plus 4.5. I'm with you guys on the under. No, I am. I'm with you guys on the under. The Miami Dolphins can run the football. Rappaport says Mostert's going to play. They got 2 guys they can run the football with. I'm going to put a backdoor cover in play here and look at like maybe a 2016 type of game.
Interesting.
So I'm going to get on the Dolphins plus 4.5. I mean, are they just going to lose every single cold weather game of all time? I know they have, but they've got to. And I'm not saying they're going to win it, but I don't know. I mean, the Chiefs. Pat said it. The Chiefs aren't special anymore. Like this year, they haven't been. Sorry to say it, Huss. Cover your ears. But they have 1 win against a playoff team. They've got 1 win in their last 4 at home. The Miami Dolphins can't run the ball enough. They're 6th in the league in running the ball, over 130 yards a game. They've got 2 guys who can do it. So I don't know. I think
what did they do in the second half of that Bills game running the ball? The Bills shut them down. And I want to dial the clock back a little bit here, fellas. When I
didn't have Mostert in that game either, though, right?
Fair enough. If he plays, I think that's a different dynamic. But when I came on here, gave my victory lap against Huss when the Bills beat the Chiefs, I said that the Bills were going to win this division. And I think both you guys laughed in my face. Look who's laughing
because
now,
it
fellas.
took
who's
the most
now.
epic choke job of all time. I mean, the Dolphins.
The Dolphins are
the
frauds.
Minute they blew that Monday night game against the Titans, it was curtains for them. And hey, they're dealing with that. All
right, let's keep moving. I'm on Dolphins 4.5. Mark it down. Where are we going next?
Well, next we're going to Buffalo and Pittsburgh. It's at 9.5 right now. It's been as high as 10. The Bills are winning this game. I'm taking the Steelers against the spread, though. I think that this game, it looks like it's going to be cold. There's going to be lots of snow. I think that Steelers are just going to run the football and hang around in this game. The Bills are certainly the better team, but we've seen kind of up and down from Josh Allen. Like, even though they won the division, like, I haven't really been convinced that the Bills are peaking right now going into this position. I certainly don't think Mason Rudolph is going to go and out-duel Josh Allen in an air game. But Jalen Saunders and Najee, they're going to get a ton of the ball, and I think it'll sort of be similar to the Chiefs-Dolphins game, where a lot of the focus is on the running game. I think the clock's running quite a bit. I think that means that we could definitely have a Pittsburgh cover. I'm going to take them at 9.5. I probably bet them at right now. It's like the Steelers is minus 105 at plus 9.5. If you want to get it to 10, it's minus 116, and 10.5 is only minus 120. So
minus 120 is pretty easy to swallow at 10.5.
Yeah.
At 10.5. I mean, that's probably where I bet it. I mean, if you guys like that, we want to put it into a partner parlay. I think maybe we take it to 10 and a half, give us that extra point. But I'm here on the Bills. As I said, the script says the Bills are winning this game, but I do think Pittsburgh hangs in there, and I'm taking the points.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously talked about, the fact that the Bills were even able to win the division. Again, it's remarkable that they got there. They got a lot of help from the Dolphins. They've fixed some things. But let's be honest, man, this team they don't blow out teams when they're supposed to. Like, they are 0-4 as a double-digit favorite. They have not been able to do it this year. Heck, they've only covered the spread 7 times this year. I don't think they care about blowing out the Steelers. I think they just want to, defend home field. They'll be fine with getting into a little bit of a slugfest. They'll open it up in the second half when they, need to. But 10 points is a lot of points, in a wild card game against a Steelers team who is going to be happy with kind of, mucking it up, running the ball, eating up a lot of clock. The weather obviously plays it into a part. I don't think Josh Allen's going to be throwing the ball a whole ton. And it's historically, guys, like, wild card weekend is for the dogs. 20-10 in the last 6 seasons are the underdogs. Last year was 4-2. So the fact that I think the Bills are going to win this, and I think it's going to feel comfortable the whole game, but even a 10-point lead throughout the entire game, and the Steelers get a backdoor cover, I could see that. It's just 10 points is far too many points in a wild card game, especially against a Buffalo team that hasn't really shown the ability to put teams out early.
You won't get an argument from me on this one. I'm on the Steelers with you guys. It's just too big a number, and I could see there being a quarter where you're like, oh, what's happening with Josh Allen? But then they'll play well enough to win the football game in the second half and win this thing.
That's all they want.
Yeah. So Pittsburgh Steelers plus 9.5, and if we want to throw them in a parlay and move it to 10.5 to get that minus 120, like Huss mentioned, I absolutely love that one. All right, Packers, Cowboys. We saw a little bit of movement. This was 7.5 for a good chunk of the week. It still sits at 7. Huss, take it away, buddy. Cowboys, Packers, where are you at?
Well, like I said early on when these lines came out, that was the one bet that I made right off the bat and took the Packers plus 7.5. I mean, listen, I've already got visions of an all-time Mike McCarthy game, which is maybe making me even feel like I might want to sprinkle on the money line. Which would be crazy because if he screws this up and they lose, he's probably done. And all of a sudden, Dallas is in the mix. How would Belichick look on the sidelines of the Cowboys? Anyways,
my God,
get on that. I've just been so impressed with what the Packers have been doing. Now, like, the total for this game is at 50.5. Like, there is going to be some points here. We know Dallas is going to be able to score, but man, the Packer defense, actually, they were getting to the quarterback a ton against Minnesota. Might be a little tougher to do it against Dallas. But even if they're down big time, Jordan Love looks good enough that I think they could even pull in for a backdoor cover. I just thought it was too many points. I'm taking the Packers plus set. Well, I'm on them at plus 7.5. And to be honest, when I'm looking at it right now, 7 is minus 108, but that extra half point is only at minus 116. So if you are betting the game and you don't mind a slight more juice, I would recommend taking that half point. That's usually a pretty good spot to jump on it.
I totally agree. I think that this is a perfect spot for the Cowboys to cowboy. I just could I see them losing outright for sure. I feel like it's going to be a close game where the whole time Cowboys fans are going to be, clenching tight here. But I think they will eventually win. But I think it's going to be by down a field goal. And I think this is going to be a moment where we're going to say, man, like Jordan Love is a franchise quarterback. I know he doesn't get the win, but it's tough to go into Dallas and get a victory. Again, just too many points for me. The way that this Packers defense has been playing, the way the offense has been playing, and the fact that I really just can't trust the Cowboys in a big spot leads me to believe that they get the job done, but it's not going to be enough to cover that 7.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas's defense was pretty good in the first half of the season. They have not been good in the second half of the season.
No.
I did not realize how good Green Bay's offense has been over the last little while.
Electric, man.
Yeah, they've been
Electric.
absolutely outstanding. So I like their ability to kind of sling it here with them in a game that I would think probably ends up being pretty high scoring. Dak Prescott led the league in touchdown passes this year. Jordan Love was second. So, I mean, these are two guys who've actually moved the ball very well. Since week 9, the Cowboys offense is first in series success rate. The Packers offense ranks 4th. So these are 2 top 5, top 10 at worst if you look at all the different category offenses. And because of that, I think I like what Huss said about a possible backdoor cover with the Packers trying to make a push late.
Yeah.
The story would be Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys just trying to hold on. And in the end, I do think Dallas will win this game, but I think the Packers are going to make it very, very interesting. So I'll roll with you guys on the Packers as well.
I know it's crazy to say, fellas, but I like the over. Every time I see a 50, it's almost like a principle, but I think this is going to be a wild game. One quick note about the Packers as well, too. 6-4 against the spread this year as an underdog, and they've covered in their last 3 games. So give me the Packers, give me the over. Going to sit back and enjoy this one.
All right, Rams, Lions, 3 points. Huss, go ahead. I mean, I'm on the Dolphins here. What are we going to do here?
This is the toughest game. This is the toughest
Agreed.
game. And I see Jake in the chat.
Turn heel.
Rams money line. Too many points. And at 3.5, which it was earlier, I mean, that Rams number is pretty juicy. Like, I'm really pulling for Detroit. I mean, and this is one of these games where it's hard to go on the other side, but man, Sean McVay is so brilliant. He knows Jared Goff as well as anybody. This is a really, really tough spot for Detroit, especially when you consider there's 30 years on their shoulders going in. I'll be honest, this is not like I played a few parlays. This is not a game. Like I'll be watching this game. I will not have any big action on it. I think I'm going to, I believe in Detroit. I think they get this done. I don't like laying the points. If anything, maybe I'd go a money line bet, but I know there's a lot of people, a lot of smart people jumping on the Rams right now. I'm going to have faith in the Lions. And for our picks, again, this isn't a big play, but I'm taking Detroit -3.
Oh, I mean, I'd be a fraud if I came on here after the full season of me.
You can't take the
bashing
Lions, dude. That's impossible.
I can't take the Lions. I can't. But what I will say, because I'm a man of my word, I'm a man of principles, I'm a man of honor, I will still ride with the Rams. And if I'm going to take the points, I might as well take them money line. But I will say this. Everyone and their mother are saying that the Rams are just going to waltz in here and win this game. And when that normally happens, guys, the opposite happens. So I just feel like nobody is giving the Lions any sort of respect. And when have the Lions played their best football is when the people start doubting. I guarantee you in that locker room, they are, Dan Campbell's rallying around and saying, we're underdogs. No one believes us. Although, I know technically they're the favorites, but no one is believing them. No one's believing them. And last year when they almost made the playoffs and when they were that lovable team, they were underdogs. It was Detroit versus the world. And I think maybe they go back to that mindset and maybe they can catch some lightning in a bottle here. So, but again, I'm a man of my word. I gotta go. I can't go back. I've been bashing them all year long. So I will go with the Rams, but man, it wouldn't be surprised me if they shut everyone up and send McVay and Stafford home packing. I mean, man, just the storyline though itself. What a game is this one going to be?
This is the toughest game I've ever had to pick in my entire life. I mean, it's not even a stretch. Like the Lions haven't won a playoff game since I was 11 years old, boys. I'm 42. Like it's ridiculous. Now, this would also be the most Lions thing of all time for the quarterback that you traded away and went and won a Super Bowl, comes back and beats you the first year you win a division in forever. The one I'm just so nervous. I feel like the Rams are just going to ruin my life this weekend. So The one area though where I think we can legitimately, like, I worry about, we know the Lions, look, the Lions' pass defense is atrocious. Their run defense is the second best run defense in the National Football League. And a lot of the Rams, how do they have success? They have success on first down running the ball and then setting up the passing game, just like they did when they won the Super Bowl. So I do wonder if they can cause some issues or if they just force Stafford to go through the air more, which would actually be horrible news for the Detroit Lions. So, I mean, I can't see Detroit winning a playoff game because we just don't do it. So I'm actually going to ride with the Rams here, +3. Stafford has weapons. McVay knows Goff. If they can establish anything on the ground early on, I'm extremely worried with how this is going to play out. So, yeah,
it's off the parlay. It's not. We're not putting this on the parlay. You don't want to win a parlay with the Rams.
No, I don't. Rams are off the parlay, but I'm going to take for our picks, for official picks. I'm going to swallow it here and take the Rams +3 because I think either way it comes within a field goal. At 3.5, I'd feel a lot more comfortable about it. But yeah, I'll take the Rams +3. All right, final game, Husk. Get it out.
Yeah, final game, and I got to run right away. I got a guest producer today. Remus is away, so I got to talk to him beforehand. Listen, I'm on the Bucks. I'm taking the Bucks money line too, for that matter. I'm so out on Philly and the way they've looked as of late. It doesn't surprise me that this number has cratered. It opened up at 4.5. It went down to 2.5 yesterday. It's sort of staying there steady at 3. But I will take Tampa as the home dog, and I do not mind Tampa at +135. Love Baker. And Tampa's a weird team. They kind of go up and down, up and down. They've been very pedestrian. They had that tough loss to the Saints. They scored 9 points against the Panthers. I think they'll be ready to go. The Philly defense is in shambles right now. They've got injuries on the offensive side of the football. I think this is a legit upset. I like Tampa in this game.
Hush, you need to go right now because Pete Greggy and I can finish this thing up if you got a jet.
Yeah, if you can.
Give us some parlay plays. Yeah, give us some parlay plays.
Yes, please.
Well, I mean, we like the Packers +7.5. We like the Steelers +10.5. And then I say we go with one of the two Saturday games on it. I don't know whether you guys are feeling better about the Browns. I don't mind the Chiefs at -4.5. We want to take Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and the Packers. I'm in on that, but I think the one we both love taking the points with the Steelers and the Packers, and whether we wanted to go, I mean, I guess, we could maybe take the Bucks to 3.5 at -130, but I'd almost rather just have it be on the Saturday and the Sunday games. So jump on one of those things. Obviously I'm down with the Chiefs, but if you wanted to put it in with Cleveland, we can do that. But I'll tell you what, Pat, when you guys figure that out, fire me a text and I'll make sure we get it out on WST a little bit later on.
Will do, brother.
All right, buddy. See you later. Hey, have a safe trip, man. Enjoy the game. Stay warm.
Yeah, you bet it. So I'll be back on the show Wednesday. Pat, Jake, thanks very much for holding it down for a couple days. We'll be in touch over the text in the group chat. Let's get some winners. And Dusty, we had a crazy playoffs last year. I think
two years ago I went 12-1, and last year you were on fire last year. I had a good playoff, but you went on a heater last year.
10-3. So let's keep it. We have a good track record of these playoff games. Let's start it off well. And by the way, for the other one, I mean, it's a little too chalky, I think, to get any sort of exclusive boost. But right now, the script parlay with Cleveland, with Buffalo, and with the Chiefs is what do we have on a parlay here? It's actually gone up because the line for the Bills has gone down. The money line has gone down to -455. So it's +203. Basically +200. Chiefs, Bills, Browns, and then we get Flacco and the Ravens next week, Mahomes and Allen. Boys, have a great weekend.
Safe trip, buddy. We'll talk to you later. There you go. That is
the barbecue.
That's us. He's we're gonna finish up with this Bucks game here. I love how Huss goes, I gotta go, then talks for 3 more minutes. Legendary stuff from that guy. Okay, so he likes the Bucks. You make a case for the Eagles here, Patty, or are you on the Bucks too?
The only thing, again, like I said, similar to that Lions game, and where everyone's thinking one way and it goes the other. That's the only thing I could think of. And the Bucks, again, great story, but how good is that football team really? But
they've scored one touchdown in their last 2 games. It's not like it's and Baker Mayfield's banged up too.
Like, So part of me, but the only thing is, like, you could make a case that the Eagles have been one of the worst teams in the NFL over the last 6, 7. For me, and I know we usually like to pick a side here. I love the under.
The under's the
under
play.
23.5.
You're right. Yeah, the under's the play.
The under is 100% the play. That's going to be my official play. But if I had to pick a side here, God, I know now it's down to 3. I think if it was at 3.5, I'd go with the Buccaneers. But man, I don't know. Like, this is a game like I really don't like either side. If I had to lean, I guess I go Bucks. But these are two football teams that are not very good.
Yeah, that's the exact. I mean, you summed it up perfectly how I would say it too. If I had to, and we pick every single one. I don't love it at 3. I'd feel better about it at 3.5, but I'm gonna kind of swallow. I just don't know what's up with the Eagles, man. I mean, is there like a get right game here when you've lost to the Giants and the Cardinals in your last 2 games? And like your only win was against it. I know Tommy just sat down. He loves the Cardinals, so a tough one to say in front of him. But yeah, so I'm gonna get on the Bucks +3. I don't know if I'm dangling around a money line here, but I'll get on the Bucks for my 6th pick at +3. Here's what I'm thinking. I kind of laid this bad boy out. Steelers +10.5.
Yep.
Packers +7.5. And if we just go Browns money line, it takes it to +494. Which, I mean, I don't hate. We could also go Browns 1.5.
There's no point at the
No, there isn't a point on that one. So we might as well just throw the money line in there and have it at plus.
The fellas are going to give us a nice boost.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get it over 5-1, and I feel really good about that. I think that sits nice.
I really like that. Again, obviously, I feel a little bit dirty, betting against the Bills, but they can still win the football game and not cover that 10.5.
They could still technically win the football game comfortably, buddy, and not cover the 10.5. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I just said 10.5. 10.5 is too much for a team that wants nothing more than this to be an ugly, like, they're just going to play keep away. And yeah, it's just too many damn points, and especially for this parlay, I like it.
All right, so there we go. That'll be our partner parlay heading into Wildcard weekend. The Browns -133 on the money line. The Steelers +10.5. Packers +7.5. I might throw a little teaser action your way. You can throw up on a ride with Dusty this weekend as well. I've been diving into that a little bit. What do you got tonight, Patty? What's going on? What do you got going on?
The Halifax Thunderbirds hosting the Toronto Rock, one of the best rivalries brewing here in the NLL. The Rock are 3-0, Halifax 2-2, but Toronto has never beaten the Thunderbirds since coming into the league. Since they've been here, they're 0-3. So big game. It's on TSN 1 and 5. You can catch that. You can also bet on the game as well at CoolBet. All our NLL odds are up there as well.
Excellent, buddy. We'll catch up with you next week.
Sounds good. Enjoy the football.
That'll do it for the Lock Shop today. Good luck tonight, everybody, and we will talk to you on Monday.